I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm probably one of the biggest. I went to all the Star Wars prequel movies and watched them and then said that they were pretty good. So you can imagine when I heard about Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 coming to our consoles, I was getting pretty excited. But only to be let down and feeling a little like George Lucas's last paycheck, a little disappointed. It's another Star Wars game, and this time a sequel to the impressive Star Wars The Force Unleashed, developed by Havoc and LucasArts. This is another anticipated sequel for the year, yet was it really worth it? It brings all the same great gameplay from the first, but with it, some minor improvements and a campaign that's over before it even began. To look further into these issues, we delve. First up, this game explores the Star Wars universe wonderfully, except with a bit of a darker tone. It continues on from the first game with Starkiller escaping the cloning facility on Kamino. With all the powers from the first game, the start section is great as you unleash all forms of the Force on the enemies and destructive environments, yet it tends to step back into repetitive gameplay and rarely introduces anything new in this version. Star Wars fans will love travelling through these worlds, but I feel that it's a little over the top. I know that it's done for the enjoyment factor, but Starkiller just seems to have the power more than Darth Vader, Obi-Wan and Yoda all put together. Yet the biggest gripe in this game is that the campaign is only about 4 to 5 hours long, and that's on hard. I mean, and some parts of it just feel a bit disjointed.
And the ship is falling apart. We've already lost Decks 8 through 12.
Head to the Rogue Shadow. I'm pretty sure those shields can't survive a direct hit from a cruiser.
Abandoned ship! Abandoned ship!
Visually, Unleashed 2 is an extremely slick looking game. There's an extraordinary amount of detail as you see TIE fighters flying overhead, cool weather effects, lightsaber marks on the wall, decapitations of sly stormtroopers, and the in-game acting of Sam Witwer is again spectacular. This and the cutscenes make the most out of the story, even if the story doesn't make the most out of the game. Animations and physics in the environments are marvellous, as almost anything can be moved, destroyed or affected, and when you're deep in combat it's really great eye candy. Enemies look, maybe not as diverse, and the foreground is all very impressive, yet the backgrounds can look a little cheap. But with all this fierce destruction, this is an awesome game to look at. John Williams' great Star Wars theme is ever present, and every sound you've ever heard in the movies are in this game. It's not the actual voices for Yoda and Darth Vader, but that's no qualm, as Starkillers is easily a character you can follow. Sounds do a good job of making you feel like you're using the Force and really gets you into that Star Wars mood, but the gameplay, as you'll see, gets a little repetitive, and even the dialogue, it doesn't keep you impressed for too long. The gameplay is this title's charm. For any Star Wars fan, the first 15 minutes will be a blast as you electrocute enemies, slice, dash and force push them over railings and through walls, and grabbing them and smashing them into each other is a ball of fun. Force grabbing is a core component as you'll use it to throw objects into destructible parts of the levels in order to progress, as well as snatch TIE fighters and platforms from the sky. Starkiller is unbelievably powerful. But like I said, with about 4 different enemies to defeat through the whole game, the enjoyability soon declines. It slightly mixes up the play with some boss battles and run as fast as you can scenarios, but they're not well done, and it really seems like not much effort was put in to find new ways to challenge the gamer here. I mean, even the QuickTime events feel poorly done. You'll have upgrades, saber crystals and experience points to collect, but not enough to really get you coming around for another playthrough. I will say that even though it was repetitive, I love the combat in this game. I really do love this crazy Jedi Master guy. Just feel like he's having a ball, you know, with some cool grapple moves, abilities to mind control your enemies and make them jump to their deaths, or just press the unleash button and watch him go even more berserk. It's pure fanboy love, I suppose. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 isn't a bad game, it's just a half-done game, and it really doesn't improve that much from the original. Just when it's getting started and it just starts getting interesting, the game finishes. And, you know, after so much promise of what it was looking like at E3, it's just fallen a bit flat for me. So I'm going to give it about a 7... No! Less than that! 6.8 out of 10.01. Good for a couple of hours, but Not much more than that.